I welcome you, hero. You have come a long way to find death.
Alright, and we are back on day 2 with Wolcen. As you can see, still down for maintenance. They did release some information about that, and apparently it was something to do with they had progression loss with people, and so they did an emergency shutdown so they can get it resolved. And they're trying to merge the servers to kind of recuperate as much data as possible so people don't lose as much progression. From what I can see in the comments, there also were some exploits going on with like magic find and stuff like that in the end game. And that might be also part of the reason they're trying to maybe fix those as well. All in all, it's just kind of a mess, which is why we're still going to be sticking to offline mode here. Go to the palace. I don't even quite remember where we're at. Oh, yeah, I think we're going to meet the prince in order to make a deal to go save... What was her name? Val? Valeria? Something like that? I think that's what it was.
My lord, I know of your deal with the Brotherhood of Dawn, but I'm sure by now you've heard that they've been crushed by Republican purifiers.
I have the report, yes. The hour is bleak, champion. So, what brings you to the palace?
I'm looking for someone fleeing with the remaining brothers. I ask of you for your scouts' help.
I have ways to locate their position and track them, but I don't really see why I should spare precious resources on your behalf at this darkest hour. I need every man I can muster against the Spherir, and even more now that the cult of the Sleeper has revealed itself.
Nothing comes for free, my lord. So let's strike a deal. The Brotherhood was preparing an expedition into a necropolis below Stormfall. They believed it would lead them to the cult of the Sleeper's destination, key to understanding the phenomenon and stop it. I will finish their job in exchange for your assistance to locate my friend.
Such audacity. I would tell you and your bloated ego to jump off the city walls, but if anyone can indeed spot such behavior, it is you, champion. Very well. I accept. Reach the smuggler's path through the sewers on the way to the lower rings of the city. I pray that you find the answers we need before this crisis engulfs my city for good.
Okay. Yeah, what have you got to lose at that point, right? I can still do this, alright. It's too bad you can't spam that. You only get so many.
Just my luck.
I'm telling you.
The smuggler's path must be over here.
Disperse and go back to the lower rings at once.
So true.
Sphere overflowing. I wouldn't go in there if I were you.
Good thing you're not me.
Good thing you're not me. You see what I mean? Like it's like everybody else's voice acting is really good, but the main characters it's just a little off. Like I don't know if that was just like the direction that was given. I gotta remember all my stuff here. Oh, Hammy. Hammy's back, yay. I don't know if it was just like the direction, like keep it generic so we can use it in various types of situations, or like they had like maybe like the two main characters' voices, because I haven't heard the females too much. If you had chosen to be a female in the beginning, maybe hers is a little off too. I don't know. So maybe in the beginning they weren't sure with way things would play out with the side characters, so they're like keep it kind of generic, so maybe it's not really their fault kind of thing. Hard to say. And given it's a smaller studio, you know, once they realized the way things were going, to kind of redo things they may have already done may have been a little difficult. You know, it could be any number of things. It doesn't automatically have to be the person that did the main voice was, or one of the two main voices. Because again, I don't know about the female one. Doesn't necessarily mean they did a terrible job. That might have been all they were working with. It's not really their fault, kind of thing. Then again, maybe it is. Who the heck knows? It is unfortunate, though, that they've had the issues that they've been having. Again, the big thing that they haven't mentioned, that other people have mentioned in the comments, is the exploits that have been going on. Mainly, the biggest one being Magic Find. And people are suggesting, why don't you just restart the servers, like reset everybody's progress, and just start from scratch, instead of trying to merge them and taking up all this time, because, you know, the game just released. It's not like people would lose all that much progress. And the main point being, people would rather just start over and play, instead of having to wait however long it takes for you to merge the data, merge the servers together, and then get everything up and running properly. Which, I kind of have to side with that argument. You know, I think it probably would have been a better decision just to reset. But, I mean, that's a difficult decision, though. Like, do you really want to test test people's patience even further by wiping their progress and making them go, well, I just played for however many hours they could play before the servers went down, and then I lost everything, and if I start playing again, who's to say it won't happen again? So I think to keep people's trust with their progress, they want to keep that probably as like the last resort. If that's the only thing they can do to make the servers work, then they might do that. Otherwise, I think they're going to avoid it at all costs. And it's not a wrong decision, it's just a decision. You know, both have their merits. It's, you know, rock and hard place kind of thing. What do you do? You know, people want to play online, but the quickest way would be to wipe everyone's progress, and if that's really your decision between keeping people's progress and just letting them play, it's like, yeah. The good thing is, they did say they identified the issues. It's just merging the servers is taking a while, and they're working with their vendors that are providing the server service. And they're just doing the best they can, given what they got, so. And they did reassure they're working around the clock to try and get it fixed. It just sucks. It's unfortunate. The good thing is, at least they did the whole gave you an offline option, right? It's not ideal, but at least you can play the game. You can get a feel for it. And I think I mentioned this shit. You can get a feel for it, so when the servers do come back online, you can go right back into it and just blast through the content, you know, because at that point you have seen things, you can blast through it, you know what you're doing, and it's just like practice, you know. Now, if you got really hyped for this game, you like took Friday off or something, you're gonna have the whole weekend for the release and all that. I mean, that's, no matter who you are, that sucks. You know, you do when you buy a game, you spend whatever money it was. In this game, it was $40 US.
Breeze coming from the depths. Soul magic.
You know, once the full release, it was $40 US, and that's not a small amount of money. And this game, the gameplay, is definitely, in my opinion, worth it. Don't get me wrong. But people expected the online mode. That's like the biggest draw to these games.
No turning back now.
The biggest draw to these games is the online mode, being able to play with your friends and all that stuff. Now, me personally, I can play offline, and if they had included a LAN option, me and my wife could have played, and this would not have even been a thing for us. Because, I mean, that's whatever to us. I mean, if you have LAN, and we just cared about playing with each other, then it's like, well, that's a non-issue. Which would be for a very small percentage of people that want to play this game, probably. But if you had just included the LAN option, whatever percentage of people you're talking about, which does include me. Talked over that a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, you would have kept those people and gave them another option to say, well, I only bought this to play either my spouse or, you know, sibling or whatever, and we're in the same house, we're on the same network, we can just use the LAN option. This doesn't affect us whatsoever. And if they ever want to make an online character later, because maybe, you know, they want to play with other people somehow down the road, then that, when the servers come back up, they do that. So I think they could have made that decision to include the LAN ability. I don't know how difficult that would have been, since they already were providing an online option. Ooh. Dies in porcupine effect. So I don't think it would have been too difficult to include a LAN option. But, I mean, maybe it was just one of those things where it didn't really cross their minds. They were like, well, we're going to have the online option, so we'll provide an offline option for single players, and if you want to play with anybody, just do the online. I mean, because most people, you're just going to have internet. That's just the way it is. Now, whether or not you have good or bad, I mean, that's a whole different story depending on where you are. But it is getting to the point where you can expect people to have online. Now, that's not true for everywhere. Obviously, there's still a percentage of people out there that, you know, they do have a computer. They are able to download a game, but maybe they have data caps, so that's still a thing. So a LAN option if they want to play with people in the same network. Or, you know, just get together, play with friends or something. It's still an option for some people out there. I think I think that was a bit of an oversight that they did not include the LAN ability. However, ooh, side area. Kill the lower soul spawn. So I did play this game, just real quick. I'll go back to the LAN thing. I did play this game off camera and tried out a different type of character. I did a spell casting type, and I did pick up a few things. These side areas, it seems like most of the game, the area is not randomized. As far as I could tell. I might be wrong on that. But the side areas definitely look like they are, and they're like small random events. So when you come across them, you're going to get some small reward for doing them if you want to. And it's going to be slightly random on what exactly happens and the layout. I already had that one, okay. So that's mostly where the randomization seems to be coming from. And I'm sure there'll be some kind of end game where there's, you know, randomized content that you can play. The LAN thing, bit of an oversight. But again, it's at the very minimum they gave the offline option, which at least at least people could actually play this game this weekend in some capacity. It's not like the whole Diablo debacle when that launched and they only allow you to play the game online. Even if you're, you know, playing single player, you still have to be logged in on their network to play the game. There's no offline option. And their reasoning for that is they wanted to keep the code on their server end instead of letting people be able to download it, so they, you know, it gives people less to work with in order to, you know, create hacks and cheat and stuff like that. Now, people, you know, you can still do add-ons, you can still cheat if you wanted to, but, you know, they can detect that stuff, and how good of a job and all that is debatable. But at least that's the reasoning they gave for that. But the end result is, I don't think it's worth it. I think just give people an offline option, you know? And you don't have to allow characters to go online that are offline, because obviously people can mess with that stuff much more easily. And just give them the offline option. So in case, I don't know, you have a bad launch weekend and your servers crash because you go from having 2,000 players during the beta to having almost 100,000 on launch, which is amazing for this team, by the way. I mean, I am very happy for them that they got so many people hyped up and pumped for this game, that this is like a good problem to have in a lot of ways. It sucks for players, don't get me wrong. It completely sucks that people have to go through this. But it's one of those problems where it's like, as a small dev team, it's kind of a good problem. You kind of hope that you have a smooth launch as possible. I mean, that would have been ideal. But what is what is, unfortunately. This has got to definitely... Oh, it's definitely a lot better. I'm going... Oh, am I going this way? Oh, no, I'm definitely... I think I'm going this way. Why is that revealed then? Oh, look at that. Movement bug. I should probably level, now that I'm looking at that. And we'll assign the passive once we take care of these guys. Alright. Oh, we were ready to go into this third tier, huh? I'm pretty sure I already set this to go into the one I want to, and it looks like it. This is a Child of Fury. What did I call them? Section? Whatever they are. They have several different ones that kind of represent the classes, it seems like. And I'm pretty sure this is definitely the one I want to go into, so we're just going to do that. What did I... Oh, yeah, that was the Life Leech node that I grabbed. And, yep, so that, and we're going to go right into there. Good. Is there anything in this little side area? Oh, movement. That's a funny movement glitch. So yeah, you kind of hope that they would have had a better launch, and it is unfortunate it wasn't as ideal as it could have been, where everything was mostly smooth. Maybe they had a couple hours of downtime, but it was up for most of the weekend so people could sink their teeth into it and really get a good play session, but it just isn't what it is. And it sucks. It sucks all around. It sucks for the dev team, because I'm sure they're panicking. They're running around trying to get everything fixed. And for players, you know, they put down their money and they expect to be able to play. And that's a real thing. You know, people, if you're going to sell them a product, people expect that product to work. And that is a very, very valid argument and reason to be upset when it doesn't. I personally have a lot more patience and understanding for a smaller dev team that, again, went from 2,000 players in the beta to having almost 100,000 at launch. That is insane. You know, it's not like a bigger studio that's going to expect the big hype and the big, you know, jump. And even in those cases, as we saw with Diablo 3, the launch, they can't get that right. Which, for a bigger studio, they really should know better, kind of thing. Like, it was really disappointing, because it's like you expected Diablo 3 to be up because it was handled by a much bigger team with a lot more funding behind it. There should have been no reason why they couldn't have been able to get it up and running and keep it mostly stable. But a smaller dev team that maybe they expected 40,000, you know? Maybe that was their, like, oh, that's our top end, you know? That's what we're going to have to make sure we can handle. And that's just a number I'm throwing out there. I have no clue what they expected. Maybe they actually released that information. I don't know. I didn't see it. But I'm just, you know, you go from having 2,000 in the beta, you know you have some hype for your game. Maybe you think your top end is like 40,000 players. And you prepare for that, right? You prepare the servers, you get your vendors to set them up so that, okay, can we keep this smooth if we get as, you know, lofty as a goal as 40,000? And then guess what happens on launch? You get 90,000 players, so you've more than doubled your expectations. And your servers, well, they were only built to maybe handle 40,000, and that was even like kind of a lofty goal. And all of a sudden you have over twice that, and everything just goes down fast. You know, it's just... So, the kind of thing is, alright, I have patience and understanding. You know, I get it. It sucks. At least you gave me the offline mode.
Soulspawn. There's a fully fledged demon down there. A demon. Just for me. I should never have come here. Alone. What was I thinking?
Okay, real quick about that voice acting. Like, Did that sound like someone who was afraid? Like a demon. Why did I come down here alone? Like, if you're trying to give me that your fear there, it's not coming across at all. You don't sound like anything. Anyway, again, small nitpick, but it because you constantly hear his voice. If you pick the male character, again, I don't know what the female character's like, but if you pick the male character and you're constantly hearing his voice, and it's always that same, like, you don't really get the sense of the emotion that's trying to be transferred there or whatever. It's one of those things, like, and it doesn't help. It's almost a detriment that everyone around him sounds so much better, because it highlights kind of like how mediocre this one is. And again, it's not like one of those characters where you're like, maybe you meet them once or twice, or maybe they're even one of the town merchants, so maybe you hear them once in a while, and it's like constant as you're going through the game. You hear this guy's voice, and it's just like, oh, that's really kind of mediocre compared to everybody else's. So, but I digress. What the heck was I? Where was I at again? I don't quite remember where I was at, but the main point is, you know, this weekend definitely was a hard weekend for people that wanted to play online. It was a hard weekend for the dev team. That was no reason to believe other than this, that they were just hoping for a smooth weekend, and then they got hit with this craziness. Again, good for them. They obviously exceeded all expectations with their sales, and I hope they get things up and running and it's smooth from here on out, and they're able to make amends somehow. At least they're communicating. They're trying to provide as much information as possible. You know, the post that they provided, I think it was on
stand in my way.
I think it was on Steam's community post. They did provide
across this chasm, unless I free those bones. That might do it.
They did provide a post on the Steam community forums about, again, what I talked about earlier about the reasoning. So they're trying to be open and reassure people they're doing everything they can, which is all you can do in this situation. You know, just you work, you talk, you let people know, and you just get it up and running as soon as you can. So, really hope they get it up to at least sometime today, but if not, what can you do? Hopefully by next weekend, everything's up and running smooth. They don't have these kind of issues ever again, because they got everything up and running. They got the server set up to, you know, handle the actual amount of people that are wanting to play this game. And we're good to go. And then me and my wife can play together and have a good time with us. We had a lot of fun with Diablo 3, and we played that game probably to death. And it's just, even with the seasons where everything rolls over, it's just, we've done everything. You know, you can't just keep going in that game, because they didn't set it up to be as infinite as, like, Diablo 2 or something. Like, Diablo 2 had a lot more traction as far as being able... I mean, people still play that game. That's how much, what's the word I'm looking for? That's how much,
The air is freezing. I must be getting close. But to what?
Spesh 20 Demacia? What's that? League of Legends reference. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't played that game. I've heard of it, but I played a little bit of Dota 2, and it seems good. I just didn't spend a lot of time to get, you know, into it. It just seems like it's one of those games where you just spend 500 hours to get good at it, or you say, you know what, I'm not gonna do that, and you just play other games. There's a character called Garen. He spins and shouts. Am I even saying it right? Demacia? Is that what it is? Is it Demacia or Demacia or something like that? It's probably Demacia. Or you can spend 1,000+ hours and still be terrible. Yeah. It does seem like the kind of game where you could spend an obscene amount of hours and still be not amazing because there's just that much to it. Which games that have a lot to, you know, have a lot of they're like, again, I'm like blanking on the word I want to use. I'm having a brain fart. But you're able to go that deep with them. They can be nice. I mean, to be able to have that kind of mastery, it feels good when you get to that level. You know what I mean? Take care of those guys. I should probably actually spend my attribute points here. Do I now have like 2 passive points? Okay, no, I did spend 1. Passively generate rage instead of willpower. I think I want to go for that first. I didn't realize it was gonna be like a fire-based thing, which is that's fine. We'll go with fire. Demacia. It is Demacia. Okay. I'm sure you're fine at the game. You're probably a lot better than me. Let's put it that way. Now, like I did mention before, I did play this game off camera on my mage character. And I got to a certain point, I won't spoil anything, but I got a little bit farther than this, and the first, and I only attempted it once, but the fight I'm on, I attempted it, and I actually could not beat it. I got close. I got to the point where I probably was about to, but I got destroyed, and I used up all my second win chances. And when that happened, it teleported me back to the last waypoint I activated. And I was like, oh my god, are you serious? I gotta start that whole thing over again. Which when you see the entire fight, hopefully I can actually beat it this time with this particular character. You'll see like how arduous of a task that is to have to fail and go back to that fight. Again, no spoilers, I'm not gonna say whatever, and I'll let you know when that fight is occurring. And you'll see what I mean then. What sort of stream set do you have? What do you mean? Like the program I'm using or something? Like which one? What are you talking about? A majestic chamber lies ahead. What appears to be a dead end. Oh, what appears to be a dead end. As you approach, something ominous starts to stir from the depths of your consciousness.
What now? Oh, they warded the way down. Bastards.
Only torment and oblivion await down there. It might not be too late to return to the warmth of the surface. Find a new life. Forget about this foolish endeavor.
Something is in my head. I must break the pedestal before I lose it.
I just have to say,
Why are you here? What are you trying to achieve? You are too weak to succeed. A pointless death will accomplish nothing.
I have to say, when I saw that cutscene for the first time, when I was playing off camera, I couldn't believe how pretty they made that look. I was like, wow. Everything about this game graphically exceeds expectations. They did an amazing job. So let's see. Single / I'm guessing you mean dual PC?
Free yourself.
What streaming software?
Guilt. You owe them nothing.
What streaming software, general PC specs, etc. It's actually, it's a single PC. I don't have a dual PC setup because I don't have a capture card. It's one of those free streaming softwares. I think like OBS or something. And I actually probably should click on the thing. That's important. As far as the overall specs, it's like an i7 core, you know, 10. What was it? Like it's an NVIDIA card. It's like a 10 something. I think it was a 1080. It's been a while since I've actually looked at it, since I've had it for a little bit.
Where is Val? Is she dead? Did she abandon you? You have been further than any of them. They would understand if you fled.
I like the trying to dissuade you kind of stuff. I mean, they really did a good job with building like the atmosphere and like really like making it seem like someone's in your head and all that. Did I forget to click on the one down here?
The protective dome is ruptured, and the dark whispers have stopped.
Deal with this guy. Oh, just smash him with the hammer. There we go.
The way down is clear. The necropolis itself is freezing.
Good. The summoning can't be stopped now. The Devourer shall feast on their soul. Come now. Let us greet the interloper.
Grab that. I'll have to actually get some fire damage eventually. Anyway, I don't quite remember all the specific settings I had it set to, because now that I have it good to go, I just hit the stream button. What's this? Frozen bones. Sinister voices echo from the depths, chanting in unison. Doesn't sound like good news.
I welcome you, hero. You have come a long way to find death. And death you have found.
You are but a pawn. Who do you serve?
I suppose letting you grasp at hints of truth before taking your life is the least I could do. We do not get many guests around here. The debts can be dull sometimes. Anyway, my master, you ask? His envoy, Udai, led us here.
What for? What's behind that gate?
Quite the thing, isn't it? The structure behind this gate is as old as the world itself, created by our makers, the Primordials. A shame that you will never get to see it. Not while you're alive, that is. The sleep.
Oh, time to fight.
You will serve.
Can you whirlwind, please? Thank you.
Come forth, devoured. What is that?
I forgot about this guy. It's interesting to fight them now as a melee, because I fought them before as a spellcaster, and it's pretty different. In some respects easier, but now I have to deal with making sure I dodge properly much quicker. I didn't see that broken shield icon for a second, it was at the top, so... Oh, did I run out? No, I hit the... Oh, get out of that. Oh, perfect timing. Let's smash his face in. There we go.
I feel stronger.
Is this a new one? Oh, it's a new
A
one.
new toy to play with. Nice.
Alright, so a couple duplicates. Oh, that's another one. Juggernaut. Ooh. That might be it. That looked like it said shield or something. Oh, wait a minute. What's this? I haven't gotten a purple yet in any gameplay that I've done so far. Unique. Plus 22 stamina regeneration, plus 10 agility, plus 15% dodge chance, plus 9% move speed. That's awesome. And it's agility instead of wisdom. The other one I'm wearing right now is wisdom, which is my 4th low stat, so it's basically garbage. So that's a big upgrade. That's a nice one. Alright, let's get our passives going. And now we can actually get this. Willpower generates transfer the rage instead. Passively generate rage instead of willpower. There we go. Perfect. That's what I want to see. Now we always start with a full rage bar. That'll be nice. That'll be awesome. Can be held to prolong the duration. You can just keep whirlwinding. We're doing that immediately. Well, let's get survivability, because all the other stuff we have deals damage. So let's get some survivability.
More of them. So this is where they come from. As old as the world itself.
It is just breathtaking walking into this room. It's just amazing. So yeah, I'm hoping to have things to update as I go. The main thing I was wanting to do was I just had to get going. You know, I was thinking like, oh, I gotta set this up, I gotta set that up. You know, and then finally I said, you know what? I just need to start actually doing it. You know, I just said, forget it. I can set things up as I go. I just need to start doing things. And that's when stuff will start to fall into place. The sooner you start, the better off you'll be. I'm actually going to just take a quick pause,